and nobody else is. I'm just going to pass the mic to Damien Sands, who's the chairman of Beck Youth Theatre, just to say a little bit about what the community means and what the Beck means to the community, and how it's been a cornerstone to all the youth and cultural programmes that have been going for so many years. Damien.
Hello. I first went to the Beck Theatre over 30 years ago, and it completely changed my life in many, many ways. As a teenager, I spent so much time there through youth theatre, summer projects, pantomime, work experience, and I've gone on to become a professional theatre director. I am lucky enough to have directed regionally, internationally, in the West End, on Broadway, and every day I get to practice the skills that I was lucky enough to learn in that building. On top of that, for the last 15 years, I have been chairman of the Beck Youth Theatre, and across that time I have seen thousands and thousands of young people pass through its doors, going from very shy little children, unsure of themselves, unsure of their way in life, what they wanted to do, their ambitions, and emerged as well-rounded, confident, decent human beings. A large proportion of those go on to work in the arts in some form, whether that's on stage, backstage, in theatre management, in costume, in sound, technical departments, casting directors, the list is endless. Even more go on to forge successful careers in law, medicine, education, the public services. What unites all of those people are the life skills that they learnt during their time at the Beck. The importance of teamwork, communication, the ability to solve problems quickly and calmly, the ability to talk to different generations and work together. These life skills are so important, and there is very few other areas that they can be taught in such a way. If I look at our current membership, this is a year group that has been blighted by a lot of problems in recent years and a lot of challenges. When we returned from the pandemic years, I was amazed that our membership shot up to over 100 and has maintained that level for the last 3 years. That's 100 8 to 19-year-olds that want to get involved in the arts, to learn more, to involve themselves, to actively participate. And my biggest worry is that without the Beck, there is not a single place in this borough that can house a group such as ours, either on stage or backstage. No other place exists, and this will force us out of the borough, and eventually things will start to fade, and that is lots of generations that will not have these opportunities. I could talk forever about the importance of the arts for young people, but we are just one small faction that makes up the Beck community. There are so many other groups like us, other sections of society, that this building is vital, because it is so much more than a building. It provides so much, it does so much, and it helps give an identity to this borough, to each other, forge that community, and it is so important for it to stay. So please keep shouting about this, not just for us, but for the future generations that deserve to have these opportunities now and forevermore.
In terms of obviously what Damien and John have just said, we still need to be reaching out to our councillors now. We will, as I say, we will not be going away. You can go onto the website, backthebeck.org. There is a page there on how you can help. There is a link to every councillor that you should be contacting, and you can copy and paste those emails and just paste them into a body of an email and send. There's a standard template that you can issue out. We need these people to listen to us, because at the moment they're not. And as I say, once it's gone, it's gone and it won't be coming back. These, and I've had to choose my words quite carefully in the last 3 weeks, but they're liars. We've proved that we've proved they're liars, because not that I wanted to use such words at the start of this campaign, we have seen over the last 2 to 3 weeks that what is coming out of their mouths is rubbish. So we just need to keep banging the drum to get our message out there, because their message at the moment is louder than ours. We need to get it out there. We need to get it into the BBC London news. We've managed to get headline news on BBC London. We get it on the radio. We need to get it in all of your Facebook streams, all your WhatsApp messages. Everybody that you know, get them to support us and get them to keep coming to our campaigns, because once they know that we won't go away, it makes it a lot harder. So thank you all so much for coming out tonight. We're going to try and stick around for a little bit longer. I'd like to be here for a good another sort of 40-45 minutes whilst they kick off their meeting next door. We'll play some music, we'll band some drums, and then we might do another little speech a little bit later on. But thank you again so much for coming and for your support. Timeline of events from the perspective of the venue as to why we are here today. And you'll hear how it contradicts from the rhetoric that LBH are putting out. I'm going to try and play it on this. Bear with me 1 second.
Come on, talk to the right players! Come on! Talk to the right players!
Before we get to questions, but before we get to that point.
Right, listen to this. Yeah.
So this is Steve Sargent. Hopefully you can hear it. You might have to come a little bit closer. This is Steve Sargent from the Beck, just explaining why we're here now and the timeline of events that led us to where we are now.
I want to share a timeline of the events that have brought us to this point. So in 2021, we engaged with the London Borough of Hillingdon, LBH, about our lease, which was due to end in June 2022. At that point, LBH explained that they needed to do some work on a long-term cultural strategy. And with that in mind, we agreed to a short 2-year extension, taking us to June of this year, to enable LBH to complete that work. That work never happened. Back in November last year, we worked with council officers to create a paper to be put in front of Cabinet. In the creation of this paper, Trafalgar Theatres made it crystal clear that they wanted to be here for the long term. We discussed 30-year leases and even offered to purchase this site from the council. The paper was clear. Officers recommended that LBH extend the lease of this theatre as there simply wasn't a viable alternative. The paper was due to go before Cabinet in February, but then was postponed to March, then it was postponed to April, then it was pulled altogether. On the 2nd of May this year, the corporate director of the place visited me here to tell me in person that LBH were backing out of lease negotiations and wouldn't be in a position to fund a theatre anymore. That was just 6 weeks before our lease was due to end. We worked around the clock to rescue that position. LBH agreed to let us stay until the end of the year so we could continue to work to find a solution that protected this theatre. Throughout May, June and July, we sent repeated emails calling out the programme risk and highlighting the fact that we were unable to book shows from January onwards. These emails received no response. In July, we sent a letter to the Council Chief Exec, Councillor Lavery, and other LBH officers in which we called out the critical risk of delay. We also set out that we would make the theatre work on a zero subsidy if the council agreed to a 3-year trial. We explained clearly that we needed an agreement fast, and we set a deadline of the 13th of September for a deal to be done. LBH agreed to meet with us, and we got around the table on the 15th of August. Present at that meeting was LBH's Corporate Director of Property, Corporate Director of Finance, Corporate Director of Place, and Councillor Lavery. They were joined by Trafalgar Theatre's Chief Exec, Commercial Director, Regional Director, and me. Having made it incredibly clear to the Council just how committed we were to protecting this theatre, I expected that meeting to go well. Instead, I felt hostility emanating from LBH's representatives. Following that incredibly challenging meeting, we sent across our financial accounts and a report on the condition of the building as requested, and we chased the council for an update in late August, but received no response. On the 11th of September, we wrote to LBH pointing out that the deadline was fast approaching and inquiring if they needed anything else from us. We received no response. We also received no further communication from them before the deadline of the 13th of September, which came and went. On the 14th of September, Trafalgar Theatres wrote to LBH to confirm their intention, as stated in the July letter, that they were now forced to begin exit preparations. On the 16th of September, LBH wrote to offer Trafalgar a 9-month extension and provided them with terms that opened us up to uncapped building repairs risk. This was so far from being workable that we politely declined. Since then, colleagues and I have sought repeatedly meaningful clarity from LBH on the future so that we may share that news with our 100 or so staff and volunteers. We have received none. Now, before we move on to questions, I want to share an extract of the letter sent by Trafalgar Theatre's Chief Exec to the London Borough of Hillingdon after they failed to meet the 13th of September deadline. On balance, I think it would be very difficult for any third-party operator to countenance operating the beck without support from the local authority, financial or otherwise. Trafalgar's scale, experience and financial backing allowed us to continue doing so. To consider doing so. We still believe that the proposal we put forward is the most viable, likely outcome for the council, and in our view, would have proved substantially less expensive than you managing the theatre directly, selecting another operator, or mothballing operations. What we put forward was cheaper than closing the building. So, I'm now happy to take questions. Please understand that there will be some
So, as you've seen and as you've heard, what the council are peddling is just not true.
No.
Please do what you can. If you can just write to your councillors, I say on the website there's so much that you can do. There's a petition that's still going. You can write to your councillors. There's loads of other stuff. We're quite prolific on TikTok now, on Facebook, on Instagram. Just keep sharing away, just getting as many people as you can to help. As I say, we're going to be here for a bit longer. They're about to kick off their demo now, their cabinet meeting. So let's just back the beck. Back the beck.